I think there is what we call in political science inputs that are coming from within the people making the law. I still think the executive is stronger than parliament at this particular point. So whatever the executive wants to achieve through this parliament will go through. And our people are not very good listeners. For example, like what Moses Biranga just said now, which is something which should even hit headlines, but unfortunately our media, they like saying, oh, arrested for defilement, this truck which was at the court premises knocked people, oh, Kelo's trial. Moses Biranga just said now that parliament cannot change the budget. Parliament can only reject the budget. End quote. This is very disturbing. It means there is another parliament somewhere else. The moment the bill is brought to parliament, it is rehearsed from somewhere. It is played before parliament.
Got me badly.
Yeah.
You see, the issue I was saying, which has been at stake between the executive and the house, is in law, parliament passes the budget brought by the executive. They don't have to budget themselves. That's where our challenge has been, that we are putting money, say 2 trillion under health. You say, no, we are removing 500 from there, we are putting it here.
But that's the role of parliament.
No.
That is the role of parliament. And that's what we have been doing the last 20 years.
But it was wrong.
How?
It was wrong. You check the law very well.
So that is very disturbing, and we need more debates. But now relating it to the sovereignty bill, I still think the executive arm of government, led by President Museveni, will get what they want through this parliament. Parliament is at its weakest for now. Some of the new entrants who are waiting to hold the Bible have received a deposit of 20 million, which for me I said is a membership drive. It is a recruitment fee. But also, Canary, from experience, I have seen sessions where MPs go to meet the president and they end up, some even kneel, some even cry. Your Excellency, we have problems, we have debts. I remember in one session the president laughed with tears. He said the MPs who are spending Christmas in parliament, they cannot get out because the debtors are waiting for them. We are heavily indebted. Please help us. I'm sure that's the same spirit which is in Chankwanzi. So the so-called bribe, which we are calling bribe, it is not at the own volition of the president, it is at the request and plea of the members. So that bribe, in my opinion, and from the facts I got, some members were kneeling down, please help your members, they are dying. They are dying. Some are now staying in foxholes in Kampala. Now that is how the president says, okay, let us give you something. So you people who meet the president and go to beg and ask for personal needs, and yet the country is already heavily indebted. The debt to GDP ratio of Uganda is 48.5%. We have borrowed up to that level. You know the country is heavily indebted. You know the presidential pledges was at 11.2 trillion. Then you still go to beg the president, and then the president gives money, and then the whole blame now is that, oh, the president is giving money to bribes to members of parliament. You are the ones who requested. So I don't see, if we don't have financial independence of members of parliament, this bill will pass the way it is. And for me, I would even say that even if the bill passes, for us as Ugandans, we are here. Because in the circumstance, what can we do? So whatever law is there, for now you have to follow it.
Yeah, but has Parliament reached that level that will just rubber stamp everything that comes from the executive?
They will. It is very unlikely. I was a member of Parliament. There are times when we pass very many bad laws, then we sit in a committee that now this week we should invest in PR. Let us have some motions to bring back the public. Then you'll find the image. Then you'll find a motion for resolution of parliament to stop female genital mutilation. A motion for resolution of parliament, school feeding program. So they just, after doing very many bad things, then we bring public relations.
So what happens in parliament is not entirely pure business like we see it from the outside.
No, there is what we even call committee of the whole house. Like the first session of parliament would be how much should we be paid. They switch off the media, they remove all media, they tell no one to talk about it because the law allows Parliament to determine their salaries. So they will say how much should we be paid. The moment we agree, you have to keep quiet. Don't talk about it. Have you found any MP, whether Semuju, whether Mwanga Kivumbi, whether who, have you found any MP talking about their salary? Because it is the written rules. It is even put in our rules of procedure. Even this man who likes Zake, no one talks about it. And the last time I dare talk about it on this show, they were denying, they were going for evasive denial. No MP earns below 26 million shillings a month. It is only these MPs from Kampala, because they don't have mileage, that they earn 26 million shillings. Actually, UPDF MPs and female youth MPs earn 50 million shillings a month, which is the same salary of MD National Water, and the same salary of MD URA, same salary of MD Umeme. So these MPs, you should not expect much from them in terms of the sovereignty bill. It will pass. So when it passes, let us be like chicken. When the kite is passing up, the chicks, they hide under the mother. Because if the law catches you, these are not normal times. If the law catches you and you end up in the basement and you end up in Nalofenya, some people may say I'm being a coward. No, it's reality. These are not normal times. So the law will pass. Sadly, it will pass the way it is.
Before it goes to the floor of Parliament for the second reading, there's an opportunity for the committee to reshape it.
No, even
from its current
the one of inviting, if I'm invited, I will not go there. It's part of the therapy. Yeah, they will invite the public, the bishops, they coming with a big cross from here to here. it is, no, I'm telling you. You are not aware that the devil these days put on a cassock. So they will invite the public, it is part of a therapy. So at the end of the day, the law will still pass in the terms the president wants. And by the way, if Parliament does not pass the law the way the executive wants, the president will not sign. He will not assent to it to be the bill. The law provides the first time the president refuses, he brings it back to Parliament. The second time the president refuses to sign, he brings it back to Parliament.
So either way.
The third time, if the president refuses to sign and Parliament refuses to pass, it becomes law. So you think these MPs who have got a deposit of 100 million shillings can dare?
These are MPs elect.
MPs elect, they're the ones who may pass the law. They can dare disagreeing with someone who gave you 100 million at a time of need? No. So this law will pass.
But what is the role of the presiding officer in this case? In such a circumstance that you have a law that many have described as problematic and controversial, and the presiding officer has a duty to make sure that before the law passes,
my friend Moses Biaranga just answered that. Parliament is now part of the executive. So the principle of separation of power is a little bit blurred. You cannot budget, you cannot do anything. And by the way, the business before Parliament, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is government business. Thursday, it is members of Parliament business. So it will pass sadly.
No, I think you misunderstand or misrepresent separation of powers. Separation of powers is about what you do. For instance, Parliament, government cannot pass a law and say this law has been cannot. It has to be by decree. So Parliament has to pass the law, either a private member's bill or a government bill. The judiciary is only one which can adjudicate. The executive cannot adjudicate, and neither can Parliament adjudicate. But the three institutions work together. For instance, as Odonga just said, Parliament, when it passes a bill, whether private member's bill or the government bill, it goes to the president for assent. So you are working together. If the president rejects a bill, it comes back to Parliament. If Parliament, if the second or third time the president says, I don't want that bill the way it is, then and Parliament passes it a third time, it becomes law. So even for the judiciary, the judges are appointed by the executive, they are approved by Parliament, then they become independent on their. So they don't appoint themselves. They don't pay themselves. They are paid from the budget. So it is your budget for them. So you cannot say we are separate, we are independent, we don't deal with you.
It's true.
So
what you are saying is good for political science class, is good for civics. But I've been in the appointments committee for 10 years. I have seen the people who have been nominated by the president to be approved by parliament. Even the most recent one. The whole committee of parliament said, no, we are not going to allow Nantapa to be a minister. Before the committee interrogated for 1 hour, they said she fell short of the issues. And the president reappointed and brought her before the committee. Parliament says she cannot. But the president reappointed the same person and brought them before the committee. I don't want to go into details on how she was finally approved by the same committee. So the question would be, the reasons you rejected her 2 weeks ago, have they changed?
Maybe.
Have the reasons changed?
Maybe you didn't have enough information.
No, what changes the presiding officer?
Henry, I want to bring you in here. Is there an opportunity to deal with the controversies in this bill now that they have called for submissions?
Thank you very much, Canary. So I want to pick it from where Moses leaves it. It's not a good law. So if you look at the timing of this law, we have now less than 3 weeks before the current parliament can be retired. But you see, they are trying their level best to make sure it passes very quickly. Now that is in itself is suspect. Now this law, if you look at the affected persons, the effects of it affects, I think 85% of this law affects economics, and about 15% affects civics. So you look at the big number, the number of those affected categories of people. I think I've been trying to list here the insurance companies, the the tour operators, the insurance, the banks, traders, franchise holders, even franchise holders such as KFC are affected because for KFC they take their recipes from foreigners. So they become agents of foreigners. The dealers of petrol stations, the musicians, every category of society is affected. And so, like Otto says, well, all we can do, this law will pass. I do not see the president taking it back, except if it's been changed, modified, to remove those bad aspects. Part one of those bad ones is the way they define a foreigner. Because if you're defining a foreigner to include a Ugandan citizen living abroad, I have lived in the diaspora, I have always said, for 4 years, I came back to my country because it is not good to live in somebody's country as to be treated like a foreigner. You find a story, if you don't have a very big heart and you are not ready to sacrifice your integrity or dignity to be continuously be referred to as a foreigner, you just say, let me go back to my home. But here we are, you come back home and they tell you you are actually a foreigner, and the law does not provide. First of all, it has a value scenario that you exit and become a foreigner, but does not specify how you come back. But most importantly, the men and women who are in office today in government, who have been there for 40 years, the ones who are pushing for this bill, at one time they were in exile as well. And some of their children were also born there. I mean, who was a very bad leader, never attempted to strip them of their citizenship. During Obote's regime, some of them were not in the country. Obote never did this. But now, for them, they are saying, okay, now that we are in, for us, if you are living outside of the country, you are a foreigner. And the last one is the whole issue of receiving of remittances. I was checking, there is an inconsistency. We are saying we want to grow our economy from 50 billion to 500 billion. We know that in countries like Uganda, we don't print dollars. If you're going to get dollars or euros, you have to earn them. If it was America, you print your dollars. But now, remittances, I was checking, we get over $2.4 billion from remittances, and we are putting a kind of a stop. We are restricting the remittances, and we are saying, so how are we going to get these dollars we are talking about when we are restricting this? So I think it's a law. It does, because this is how Moses. So it says, for you to first of all, to be an agent of a foreigner. First of all, anybody that receives any remittance or anything in kind from a foreigner, and the foreigner includes a citizen of Uganda residing outside, is a foreign agent. And for you to receive that, you must first go and seek to be certified by the minister. By the minister to issue that certificate, he must be acting on documentation.
I think it talks about the purpose for which the money is made.
No. Whoever receives, even if it is $1, because it does not mention, does not put thresholds. The law is here, Moses. You go and read it. It does not put threshold. So for me to receive $150 or $20 from my relative staying in the UK,
no, the threshold is 200 million.
No,
400 million.
That is the threshold for where. No. For institution. The 20,000 currency points, which is $106, $6,000, is when you have to seek approval. But for just receiving, you can, no bank, no remitter, Western Union, MoneyGram, or the bank cannot give you money unless you have provided a certificate from the minister, even if it is $1.
And the certificate is saying what?
It is here.
That you've registered yourself.
I'll show you, Moses.
That you've registered that you're foreign agent.
Therefore, that you're foreign agent. Anyone that is going to receive any money, even if it is $1.
Read it for us so that we are together.
I don't know how much time I have.
No, it's not what you are saying. It's not right.
But it is. I'm going to show you.
The normal Western Union of getting $800,
to release it, to give you that, you must produce.
You read it.
That certificate.
The threshold is
no. There is no threshold. So this is what the certificate of registration. So it is here in the bill. I think it's around the certificate. So for you to
read it, since you have identified it.
It cannot be the case. I think that is unnecessarily alarmist. That if you are going to receive $100 from your brother in the US, you have to go and get clearance from the minister. I think no. That is not true. What is true is that there is a threshold. By the time you are receiving 400 million, you have to report to the minister.
At clause 14, registration of an agent of a foreigner. A person shall not act as an agent of a foreigner unless the person is registered with the department and issued with a certificate of registration. Now, for you to be an agent of a foreigner, you will receive.
You tell us how much on the money.
There is no amount. There's no amount. And for you to be an agent of a foreigner, all you have to do is to receive something, an instruction or money or something.
You go and register.
If you read this law, wait. If you read it, you find that for the bank to release this money to you, you have to produce a certificate.
That's not true.
But even in the long title, they have defined an agent of a foreigner. If you are acting on behalf of a foreigner, they are saying go and register.
Absolutely.
They have not anywhere stated when you are receiving £1,000 from UK, you should report to.
Who is the agent of a foreigner? How do you become agent of a foreigner?
By the time you are Ugandan and you want to be an agent of a British, an agent of an Israeli, go and register.
No, it is here. How do you